Hello and welcome to a Velvet Revolution. Sorry, not the Velvet Revolution. I think we're reclaiming it, and I think we've been doing it long enough now. With myself, Ben Rice, and my co-conspirator today, Dave Noble. How you doing?
Coming out all these variations. What else could it be? Don't know. You're
I
running out
liked
of
Co-Pilot. I did like Co-Pilot. So
co-pilot. I'm the gunman
you're the gunman in the back or in the front? Right.
on the bottom,
Yeah.
like the bombers.
Okay.
You know, it's a cool spot 'cause you got seeing all the action down there.
I think you were also at the most vulnerable there as well. I think
Uh,
you there was more
yeah.
chance of you getting hit.
Yeah. Anyway, I shouldn't really be making hearty of that because there's some serious shizzle went down
Hmm.
in that time, and full admiration and honor and respect towards the guys and ladies. Was there ladies in the bombers?
I'm
Must have
sure there
been.
were at some point.
They were certainly the minerals, the badasses in the background that built the fucking bombers,
Hmm.
weren't they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The ladies
definitely.
built the bombers, I think. They there was a lot of background stuff that maybe they've been celebrated. I'm celebrating it now. They built the bombers. Even if they didn't, they built the bombers. Um,
I bet I actually watched this. Was it this week or last week? Um, one of our aircraft is missing, which is like it's 1940s. It was made during
it,
the war. It's like a
is it,
propaganda film.
isn't that current affairs at the moment?
Yeah,
I keep hearing about this, about the planes going down.
but it's like five. I think it's five or six airmen get their plane goes down, and they have to escape from Holland, and it's about
Ah,
how the resistance in Holland helped them, and it's all like
yeah.
typical. Like all the British airmen have like moustaches and speak
Love
very
that.
proper, and yeah, it's a good film.
Yeah,
Good film.
yeah. The resistance. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, we've really gone off straight away there.
I don't know, man.
How are you today? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm in good spirits. Yeah, can't grumble. I'm doing good, man. I've had for anyone that doesn't know, we record. I'm going to say it. It's a weekend. We record at the weekend. And so far, I've had a very nice one actually. Yeah, I since I've come back on my trip away, um, been struggling a little bit to sort of land properly, to properly
Hmm.
ground myself back into the environment surrounding me. I think it's because of the season. Oddly, I know we're in the slap bang in summer. By the time this broadcasts, it might not be slap banging because we pre-record, obviously. Oh no, we're live, completely live. Um, and but I'm sort of like, in the autonomous winter, spring-ish seasons. Um, it's a little more chill
Yeah.
where I am, less tourism, and I'm really looking forward to that because just it's just a bit more chill and a bit more calm. But so I had an invite to go to a beach yesterday, and I kind of sidestepped and went to the city instead.
Okay.
Because my theory behind it is there's going to be less people in the city than there will be on a beach in summer season down
Yeah,
here.
possibly.
Do you know
Depending
what
on the
I mean?
weather. Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, I went to the city and I had a motive, which was I wanted to go and to the music store to ask them about. I need a guitar restringing, an electric one. I'm not confident enough to do it myself.
Hmm.
Anyway, I went there and I bumped into I sent you the clip, didn't I?
Yeah.
I bumped into my dear friend Ben, the other Ben, my other dear
Hmm.
friend Ben. His band Radio Sunset. His drummer, Ivan. I love Ivan, man. He's like freaking, the Muppets.
Yeah.
Animal. You know, that was sort of like Keith Moon vibes, wasn't it?
Yeah,
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 like he's a really animated drummer. He's one of them, and he's got
yeah.
long red hair and a beard, and he just looks really fucking cool, man. I wasn't calling him a Muppet. Ivan, you're not a Muppet. He just remind me of the animalistic character traits of Animal. His name's Animal in the
Yeah,
Muppets.
it is. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, he's an awesome drummer. He's done a lot of touring around the world, session for a lot of people. He's drum tech for a lot of people. Anyway, I'm walking down the high street in the city, and I'm just about to go to my car. I'm like, it's sort of towards the end of the day. I'm like, right, I'm going back to my car now. I'm going to go home. And I just saw this long-haired, bearded, red Viking drummer walking towards me. And it was like, hello, mate. And I was like, it was just so random bumping into him. And he'd had no sleep. He'd just got off a tour bus. He's on tour. And he's doing a bit of lighting when he's not drumming for someone. He does like a lot of, like, say, drum tech in sound tech. He was doing lighting. He was helping out on some show. It was a stage thing that they were touring a Gatsby. You saw it. I
I
sent you.
did see it.
And so we went and he was hungry. I took him, we went and got a burrito. And then next minute, I'm up on a balcony. He's taking me up. I'm up on a balcony in this cathedral,
Hmm.
like, and he's doing all the lighting, and I'm watching freaking a Gatsby show. I'm like, this is so random. And it was awesome, man. I mean, it was just like everyone dressed up. There was all these punters, excuse me, all these punters were all dressed up in, and they're all dancing, doing the Charleston and all of that. It was bonkers. I loved it.
Was it like a stage show? Was it just dancing and music? It wasn't like a production of The Gatsby, or was it?
It was, but it was really sort of bit mental because they'd slung in loads of like the Bowie songs and like Let's Dance, and they were doing Gatsby spin on it, and it was just
Okay.
a bit bonkers, really. But it was
Okay.
pretty cool. It
Yeah.
was it was bonkers cool, you know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? And we were giggling because Ivan's like, check out everyone's but been gone online to buy the Gatsby fancy dress gear, and everyone's
Yeah.
basically wearing the same fucking clobber. But it was brilliant. It was really good, and it was nice to be above it all and look down and see it from above. It was like
Yeah. Yeah.
pretty cool, man. And I had this sort of like, there's a deeper meaning to this for me always because is that coincidence that I just bumped into to Ivan there? And my gut, I had this really strong feeling when I woke up yesterday that I needed to go off and do what I needed to do rather than do this other thing that was sort of I was invited to go and do this other thing in my gut, in my soul. I really had this strong intuitive feeling I needed to go and just be off and go off on my own and do what I needed to do. And then I had that experience.
Mm.
It's like I had that similar experience on my birthday. I talked about on here when I ended up weirdly, I ended up in another sacred space and had a string quartet played to me.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think for me, it's gifts because I was feeling a little bit. I woke up yesterday feeling a little bit like I'm still sort of feeling a little bit homesicky,
Yeah.
and Ivan's a familiar face, so it's beautiful. Anyway,
Y-
that's good. Again, it's a nice little in my bank experience.
Yeah.
These weekends were spent. I used to spend weekends in a pub garden getting absolutely sloshed out of my mind, and Grand Dog Day,
Mm.
and I was really not getting a lot from it other than beer bloated and an empty bank balance.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
And so yeah, life is rich, full of these sort of wonderful, weird happenings, synchronicities, I call them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Anyway, how are you? How are you? How are you? How are you?
Yeah. 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 I'm okay. I've really been doing much the same, to be honest. I can't say that life has changed quite dramatically. Still. Still got daily appointments. Still healing. Still trying to stay positive. I went to the hospital today for yet another different perspective. Um, and the guy there just said, "Yeah, it's going to take months and months and months to heal." And he said everything was fine. So
Do you have a different person inspect you every time? Because you said
it's
it was a
not
guy.
every time. It's like on Sundays I can't go to the surgery because it's
Mm.
shut, so I have to go to the hospital, and they tend to have different staff on every time. And then yeah, I've see about 4 or 5
I
different
reckon,
nurses at the surgery as well.
I reckon they might have. You got to check this out. I'm not going to name the. Oh, fuck it. They might have a Facebook group.
What about my
Yeah,
wounds? I
and they're
don't.
taking when they're down there inspecting, they're taking a cheeky little selfie
Yeah,
underneath
yeah,
it, going, and they're posting it, and they're doing a little
yeah.
like, they got a little group, little
That'd be
group.
amazing. That'd be amazing. Ben's ass on
Ah,
Facebook page. Yeah,
well, maybe you should start one.
maybe. Yeah. Weirdly today, the nurse looked like someone I grew up with, and then the guy. There was two of them in there. There was a guy and this and the a sort of senior nurse and a nurse, and the senior nurse used the name that I thought she was called, the person I thought it was when I was growing up, but I didn't have the guts to say, do I know you? Basically, because she was looking at my backside. I didn't want to sort of throw
That's
that
awkward.
awkwardness into it.
That's
So I just
awkward.
left it. But yeah, it may have been someone I grew up with. So that was yeah, my experience for today. And I'm just trying to be positive because yeah, it's just been another week and it just feels like the same old. Um,
I do take my hat off to you, man. I've got to give it to you. Like you come on here every week, you know, and you're you're remaining upbeat about it, you know.
trying.
And it's like there will be a day, Ben, when, you know, I ask you how you doing, and you'll be like, yeah, I ran a marathon today or something,
Mm,
or whatever.
yeah, I think that's the thing that's bugging me at the moment is like you and like you went into town yesterday and you had this experience. And normally that's what my life is like. I
I know
normally
it
go into
is.
town and I
Mm.
meet people and I do stuff. And for the past 11 weeks, I have sat on a sofa on a nest of cushions and watched stuff. And look, I had some friends came around yesterday. Actually, there you go. That was a different. I haven't seen them for a while. They pop round, so I do see people. People come around and see me, bring me grapes, and so that was really nice to see some people. Um, but yeah, it's tough, and I do yeah. At the end, still feels like a long way off.
I salute you, man, because you remain upbeat and you don't let it get you down. I'm sure you have your moments. Well, I know you
Mm,
do, but like, you're doing good, mate.
thank you,
Yeah,
thank you. I appreciate that.
yeah. Don't don't let it beat you, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm worried more about the fact that we're getting towards the end of this first season, and we need something to run the second season. Ben's ass has been the theme of the first one, the overarching theme,
Yeah.
and what's going to happen next?
Well, more will be revealed, I'm sure. You know, I don't want to tempt fate at all
Yeah,
because I don't want it to flip. I mean, I don't want you to be the one that's at the,
at the brunt of everything.
but you know, in the same way, I would wish for us both to be, tippity top
Yeah.
and all that jazz. But we'll see. More will be revealed, I'm sure. Um, okay. But other than that, everything all right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
everything's all right. Everything's all
Okay.
right. Oh,
All
yeah, same old, same old.
all right. Good. All right. Well, let's proceed. So look, I I've dived in because I never look at this list when I've got to choose because I want to be just live and direct with it and jump on and just have that extra pressure. I like doing that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm not and you're choosing today, I go in and just have a quick scan through to see if we can add any more because sometimes you don't need to, and there's loads on there. But it's a bit. I felt it was a bit thin on the ground on this one. So we're on W, right?
Oh, and V. Oh no, what did we do last time?
No, we did V last time.
Did we?
Yeah, I did
Ah.
it, and it was vicarious.
Oh yes. So we're
We
on
didn't,
W.
we didn't have a Scooby, and maybe still don't. What the hell that means? We're on W, yeah. So
Right.
STUVW, yeah, right. So it's
There's
your
quite a
turn to
few.
pick.
Have you added loads?
I've added an extra column. Now
Ah.
you got to bear with it. Just read through them.
Okay.
Go for it.
Right. Wacky, wary, wasteful, wise, wishful, withdrawn, willingness, wily, wondrous, woeful, wicked, wazzock. Did you add that one?
Yes, that's just like yeah, that's just a what you call it.
Okay. It's a curveball.
Yeah.
Weak, weary, weird, weirdo, wellness, well-being, wrongful, worthless, worried, and whimsical.
Now Wazuk is it's in the book of words, man.
Is it?
Yeah, that's why I stuck it in there.
Okay.
I didn't come up with that word. I forgot the word was it. I mean that's a early 90s, late 80s saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't be such a freaking wazzock. Do you remember that when everyone used
Yes.
to call everyone a wazzock? So it's actually in the book of words. It means I've got to look it up, but it is a word. I don't know if it's relevant to what we're doing, but I thought I'd sling it in because I thought it'd be. I just wanted to see your reaction when you read it. um, but is anything jumping out to you? Is anything? Because last time we was talking, you said that there's like a subliminal, what do you call it? Like, you know, how we're feeling, we sort of gravitate maybe to, there's like a subconscious pull
Yeah. Yeah, I think there is.
to some of the emotions. And because when we started to talk about doing this, it was more based on like actual specific, all the basic, if we'd stuck with just the basic, obvious things, it would have been really bland and boring and mainstream generic. It would have been like, I know we've covered empathy, but it would have been like empathy, you know, sadness, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
happiness. And we definitely wanted to break that open and be a little bit more abstract with it, which, so hence Wazzock. And let me just, where is Wazzock gone? Where's Wazzock gone? It was in there. Did I imagine it? Um, where's he gone? Where's it gone? I don't know. I'm sure I saw it.
Yeah.
Anyway, are you feeling anything?
Well, I mean, I'm intrigued by Wazzock because it's just appeared there. But what am I thinking today? I'm,
Here you go, was it? I found it, right? Before you choose, let me just
yeah,
read was it? Okay. A stupid or annoying person.
right.
So if I'm being a wazzock, you're just being a twat.
Yeah,
Bell end
yeah.
vibes.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I did see some Wazzock behaviour this morning at the hospital, but
But
I don't.
I don't know if we can get away with this one. I mean, I know I could riff for an episode on it, but I'm not trying to mindfuck you into choosing it. I honestly think maybe we should not
Yeah.
do it another time. Maybe when we've run out of W's with it.
Maybe we can squeeze it into the XYZ because we've got so few of
Yeah.
those. Right. Okay. I'm gonna go for wondrous
Oh, nice. Okay. Why?
because I'm trying, as you said, I'm trying to uh, stay in like this positive mindset.
Mm.
I spoke to a friend yesterday, uh, and yeah, he was in a bad place, and that kind of, yeah, I realized that I kind of mirrored that, and I was very negative about the situation I've been in or am in, and there's a huge level of frustration there in that I can't get on and just do, and I feel like I have been sort of caught and trapped. So I think if I try and go the opposite way and try and find some sort of positive way of looking and looking for wonder, because that's the way I think about wondrous, is
Mm.
looking and trying to take that positivity from life
Mm.
and think about the good things that are happening.
So what just came up for me was we when we was in London the other week, we walked through um Hyde Park,
Mm,
blazing hot heat. Oh my God, trying to get out of the sun, walking down um to Knightsbridge, down to South Ken, wherever we were going.
mm,
Walking through Hyde Park, trying to get out of the sun. Um, really hard to do because it's just concrete everywhere. Went into Hyde Park, um, big old trees, got a bit of shade somehow walking through. But on our return, coming back up through the park, once we'd seen Kurt Cobain's guitars and memorabilia, that's why we was walking there. Stevie Wonder,
mm,
Stevie Wonder was playing.
mm.
Not actually play. I wish he was. I think we would have stopped, parked up, and just sat down, had a picnic, and listened. Right.
Yeah,
But that's what just came up for me when you mentioned the word wonder and wondrous. It was like Stevie Wonder.
yeah. But
Um,
I think it speaks also to what you were talking about
hmm,
when we came on, in that idea of you know, unexpected things, and the wonder of life is that, you know, you bumped into someone you weren't expecting to meet and ended up in a situation which was full of joy, and it was like a, you know, was an experience that's in your, it's in your head now.
like no other. It was truly wondrous. I
Yeah.
tell you. Let me tell you, it was magnificent.
And
So,
I think, and the other thing I think about that day we were in London was, yeah, we went to see Kurt's guitar. Yeah, you know, someone had the most expensive guitar in the world, apparently. £6.1 million someone has spent on that guitar.
wow.
And we saw his cardigan.
Mm.
But actually coming back down, because we had to go through this little museum, this little room of musical instruments, was actually the one
Mm.
you know, that was a real wonderful moment, because actually, oops, oh sorry, I they were almost more interesting than actually looking at Kurt's guitar.
I've got to say it, yeah. You know, it was once I clocked, it's like, right, okay, I've seen it now. Seen Kurt's guitar, his Cardi and all of that, and it was amazing. And it's like amazing, like to see that, having seen it so many times, um, not in person, just on film and video and all of that, captured, documented. To see it in for the flesh is like, wow. But for me, like you saying, when we went back down to the room we had to walk through with all the collection of artifacts, literally, they were, I mean, Kurt's guitar's been on this planet for since it was made and however long. I mean, it dates back to what was it? It's like made in, I think it's one of 50 or something in it, that guitar that they made. I don't know, Martin. And there are other guitars you can buy, and uh, I mean, it's what? It's not even 100 years old, right?
No,
Can't be. It's like it's more like what, 50 years old, something like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And but then when we was like, looking at stuff that was from like what was it? 18 1581.
yeah.
1581, that the guitar was 1581 that was made.
Yeah, so the lady told us that was the most expensive guitar was Kurt's, and the oldest guitar was on the wall. and wasn't even a glass cage. Because that was the thing, because we had all those sort of harpsichords and
Yeah,
pianos and these incredible things which were hundreds of years old, as you said. And we had to ask the lady, it's like, we're allowed to touch these because they're just all sitting
yeah.
around.
I know, it's mad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was really, especially with the keys, like on the keys, I was just like, I just want to go, dang, 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 dang. You
She's
know,
like, no, don't touch them.
Jerry Lee Lewis
Yeah,
style.
yeah.
But yeah, that wondrous is what, you know, if you're listening, you you might not feel, you know, in your own lives, what, because I think wondrous is such a powerful drug.
Hmm.
I'm gonna use the word drug, right? It's pure,
Yeah.
untainted. It's truth. It won't let you down. Um, it's there's no dirty come down to it. The only come down you get from not feeling wondrous is going, oh, I want to feel wondrous again.
Mhm.
And you can chase that high, of the drug of joy, of wonder, of awe. Um, and is that such a bad thing? I think no, not if unless it causes you, to be a bit of a wazzock, or a bit mental, and a bit if it gets a bit obsessive, and you get a bit if it causes you and others and society in the world, if it causes problems, then maybe you've got to maybe rethink how you're trying to attain it. But is there anything wrong with it? No, not at all, man. I mean, it's like I've chased a lot of other things far worse, to my detriment, and they've had there's been a fallout to that stuff. There's always play now, pay later, right? So I'm chasing desire of whatever to get a fix. There's going to be a consequence to that somewhere along the line where I'm gonna struggle. There'll be a repercussion. But is there ever a fallout to attaining and experiencing wonder? The wondrous experience of that fucking pure ecstatic euphoria of like, I'm really fucking, this is great, And anyone listening, I don't know what that is for you. I know what it is for me. I experienced it. I checked in with it, seeing Ivan, the Viking drummer coming towards me and ended up in on that balcony in that beautiful cathedral, and sit and hearing that music from 1920s mixed with Rihanna, Umbrella, Ella, Ella. They did that. They did a version of that as well, whilst doing the
Nice.
fucking Charleston. It's very bizarre. Anyway, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the word wonder conjures up something quite magical, quite otherworldly. I think there's sort of yeah, it's such a powerful word in terms of when we feel wondrous or we feel, how many people actually exclaim, "I feel wondrous today." That's quite a statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
And nowadays it's like I'm Gucci. It is though, isn't it? Over
yeah,
where we're from, over in the UK, man, what they're saying now.
I'm paying,
Yeah, paying Gucci. I'm Prada, mate. There are other brands of clothing, man.
but they may not make you feel as
Yeah,
wondrous.
yeah. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
feeling proper Primark today, man. Primarni. Oh dear.
So
Yeah.
yeah, as a word, I think it has quite a lot of weight to it. I think there's a lot, if you say like the wonders of the world, we're talking stuff that is like proper, absolute top level, moments or experiences or things that exist or have existed. So yeah, it has a real sort of power to it. But
Mm.
I think, like we're talking about, or we started talking about, is like the everyday, the little wonders, the everyday sort of wondrous things that happen, the
Yes.
little things that we may not take for granted. Or sorry, we
Mm.
may take for granted and we don't see as wondrous.
Yeah. 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 I like where we're going with this. So, quantifying people at home listening, or in your car, wherever you are, in your bath, with your ducks, when you're walking along with your dog or your cat or your little monkey. No, you shouldn't have a monkey. That's wrong. I saw a documentary on the Congo and monkeys, and I'm going to say this actually. Just it's total sidetracking, but I need to say it. I watched a documentary. I need to spread this shit because it's a problem. There's a thing at the moment. I don't know if anyone's seen it. I'm not on social media, so I haven't seen it through social media. But on the documentary I watched, it's very much on social media. It's people. I'm not going to say where it is in the world because I don't want to call them out because I don't want to be that broadcast channel that's, you know, I don't want to do that. But there's a certain part in the world where, like, I encourage people to watch the documentary because the documentary has it all. Now, I can't even remember what it's called, but it was on National Geographic. I'm pretty sure of that, and it was just showing the problem in the Congo with the monkeys, and they're killing families. To get to the baby monkey, they have to wipe out the family because the
Right,
family will rip humans' heads off to defend the baby. So they shoot the elders to wipe them out so they can get the little baby monkey,
right.
right? And then they import them out of the Congo to a certain part in the world where at the moment there's this, it used to be tigers, and then they got hold of that one because that famous thing that was,
Oh
sure
yeah, yeah, yeah,
most people have seen it about the tiger fucking world.
yeah.
And now it's the same thing they're doing with these little baby monkeys because they're making loads of money out of, you know, people want a photo with a little monkey and then they can post it on their fucking social media and go, look at me, my little monkey. Oh, how cute. But they don't realize the reason them little monkeys are accessible for those selfie photos, so you can play with a monkey for an afternoon and get a selfie, right? The fucking families are getting killed in the Congo to get them, and then they're getting really badly imported, they're getting exported out of the Congo to this part in the world where it's really a thing. Anyway,
Mm.
look, don't take my word for it. I know I sound like a lunatic getting on my high horse, but I like monkeys, man. I like animals, and it's exploitation. And anyway, like I don't know too much about it, but I know enough to know. I felt compelled to share that. So anyone that likes monkeys, go on National Geographic and try and find that documentary. It's quite heartbreaking, but it's very insightful. Um, Anyway, sorry about that. I completely went off track. So, yeah, you might be listening to this walking your dog. And what I was going to say, I can't remember because I completely went off on a sidetrack. But I was saying to people listening, I was encouraging people to reflect, as always, on how this can relate to you, what we're
Mhm.
talking about. And yeah, I was saying about how we quantify things in our lives. That's what I was saying. My memory's pretty good, but I can always get back to it just about. So for me, I used to quantify success. Measure of my success would be how much money I've got, how much, a bit like what I was just saying. Oh, you know, validating, because that's validation. Look at me with my little, this, or look at me here, or look at me doing this, or look how much of this I've got, or look who I'm with, and look where I went, and da 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 da. Right? I used to be like that. Right? So I'm not judging anyone if anyone's like that. I'm just saying I used to be like that. So I used to quantify the measure of my importance and relevance and sense of self in the world was based on what I thought other people thought of me, seeking validation, right? Am I making sense with what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
right? So, what I'm encouraging and asking people to reflect on, and you, Ben, because I want you to help me out with this, is that's how I used to interpret what I thought a measure of, you know, um, that's what I thought wondrous was to me,
Yeah.
right? It's like I've got all this shit and this is great, right? Now I know we cross over on this subject because it's a common one.
Hmm.
It's at the core of a lot of stuff. Who am I? How many times have I said that on here? Like I always come back to that. How many times I'm saying it again? Who am I? So if I'm not sure who I am and I'm trying to define myself by all this exterior stuff to validate a sense of self, that's really a distorted interpretation and representation of my authenticity and integrity, in my opinion. Right. And it's the same with like wondrous. Like, how are we relating to wondrous? What brings you? I said it earlier. What brings you, anyone listening, what brings you that sense of wonder? Is it sitting in a pub garden all weekend, getting sloshed up with your mates and exchanging funny stories and being a bit mental and having a laugh and dancing on tables and all of that stuff? There's nothing wrong with that. Not not digging it out. I used to do that, but I never really came away feeling like I'd found that sense of wonder. Rarely ever did I. Back in the 90s, back in the 90s, used to take a tablet and I got some euphoria from that little biscuit, let me tell you, for about 12 hours. And then there was a mad come down, dirty come down. I wanted to kill myself
Mm.
for the rest of the week and I'll do it all again next weekend. Now, my life's very different today. So everything I always say on it, it's never judging anyone or trying to dig out, and looking down on anyone because I've done it. It's not like I ain't done it. I've never talked about stuff I haven't done myself.
Mm.
So, I'm qualified to sort of talk about it because I've done it. But then I've also got this other experience of how I've lived. And so I share that as well. So I've got this sort of like two sides of the coin. So I share both. So kind of know a little bit about both, and I'm just sharing that with people. And the way I ascertain and measure my sense of wonder and what's wondrous to me now is very different.
Mm.
And it's like you're saying, it's just little moments, little snapshots of experience or a sense, a feeling, or it's an experience, it's an essence that I capture through the lens of my being.
Mm.
And it could be just I'm gonna say it, Nick Cave. He's got his blog and we're fans of it and we're inspired by it. We are. I'm just saying that. Called the Red Hand Papers,
Red Hand Files.
Red Hand Files. And I read one of the things someone put on there about joy.
Mm.
He's got if anyone's not checked that out, check it out. It's really beautiful. Um, it's really beautiful. And he's got a section called Joy. Um, I feel like we're gonna have to put a link to this, and because it's worth it, because it's a really beautiful thing. And he's got a thing called Joy, and people send in what brings them joy. And I read it, and it was someone that had put early in the morning when I've taken the kids to school, walking back and seeing the sun catch and the sun catches the trail of a slug and the light that it shines off of it.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what brings them joy.
yeah.
Not, you know, having four cars on their fucking drive.
There's, as I was saying earlier, for me, the word conjures up magic, conjures up something quite special. And I'm trying to think why it is and what and the sort of connotations of the word. And I think for me, there's this idea that wonder, something is wondrous, but there's also that sort of the fact that it is you can be wondering and that your mind can drift. And I think about I think about thin spaces. Have you ever heard this concept of thin spaces? So it's the idea
Mm.
that where you are in a point in the landscape or wherever you are in the world, that these thin spaces are the where life you can sort of see where heaven and earth might join. It's like kind of like a spiritual sort of understanding. It's like you actually start to feel like there's a thin space between you and everything else, and your mind actually starts to wander at that point, and you can and it becomes wondrous because you've got space and time to think. And that's what I'm sort of thinking about here is something when something's truly wondrous, it feels like time has there's a little bit of time that sort of is separate from everything else. Does that make sense? Like it sort of slows down a little bit and you're in
It
this
does.
space thinking, oh yeah, okay, this is quite special.
Yeah.
And I think I talked about the world according to Garp the other day. Did I talk about that? I can't remember if I talked
Yeah.
about it on.
I
It's an
think
old
so.
Robin. It's a Robin Williams
Yeah.
first film,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and the reason I talked about it is because the plane flying into the house and
That's it. Yeah.
him buying the
Yeah.
house because he's like, well, that's never going to happen again. But there's another really beautiful bit in the film where him and his wife, uh, they've got two kids, and they get a babysitter, and they leave the house, and they get in the car, and she's like, right, where are we going? You've said we're going on a special date and stuff, and he's like, no. He sort of looks at her, and she goes, oh, we're not going anywhere, are we? And he sort of shakes his head, and what he wants to do is he just wants to look at their kids, and he just wants to sit in the car and appreciate the fact they've got these two beautiful children. And it's quite clear that they do this. He wants to do this quite a lot. She wanted to go for dinner, and she was like, okay, all right, we'll do this. But it was like a moment where they could just step outside of their lives and just look at something that they created, these two kids, and have this sort of moment together.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's where I'm sort of placing wonder as a wondrous moment is something that sort of just takes you outside of yourself for a period
Mm-hmm.
of time
Yep.
and makes you look back or look at something. You're really in the present. You're looking at something that is there, and
Yeah.
you're like, it really sort of stops you in your tracks and makes you sort of pause and go, right,
Mm.
okay, this means something. And
Mm.
it might not register at that point what it is it means, but it's a
Mm.
time where you can stop and think. So yeah, that's where my mind was wandering to,
Mm.
thinking about this sort of this word and what it might mean and what it and where it might sit in life.
It's beautifully put, man. Beautifully put. And what came up for me, two things. One is what you described. What did you call it right at the beginning? You called that, it's called something.
What a thin space.
That's it.
Yeah,
What's it called? A thin space. Is that what it's?
thin as in opposite
Yeah.
of fat.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thin space. Yeah.
A thin space. Right. So when you started to describe that, I immediately associated that to what I've learned and what I continue to experience whenever I am in a meditative space.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And what I mean by that, it's not necessarily, or it can be, but I'm not talking about just necessarily sitting in a cave, cross-legged with incense, candles, chanting with beads, with a bald head. Right. I'm not talking about that, but it is that as well. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about um, meditation is, in my opinion, got a lot of association. It's unfortunate because it's associated with what I just said. right? Which is, it just feels a little bit, oh God, meditation, bit boring, bit unattainable, and it's like it's not very sexy, right? Now, I say it freaking well is, because I'm not talking about running around with no clothes on, you know. That's certain. You can go and do that. There's certain retreats you can go and do that. Just go and do your research. You'll find some retreats. You can do it. There's certain things where you can run around doing all that. And that's cool. I'm down with everything, right? But but it's kind of like this. To me, what you're describing is that space. It's like a stillness that
Mm,
happens. It's like a connectivity. It's like
mm,
plugging in. It's like tuning in. It's dialing in to a paradigm, a new paradigm. Now, it's not new to the universe. It's not new to Rupert, my cat. It's not new to the trees. It's not new to the birds or a lot of living beings and things and entities, sentient beings, or, it's not new to any of us because we're all in it anyway. We're all in alliance to it. We're all part of that, but we disconnect. So we become estranged from that way of being.
mm.
Now, usually it happens, like I believe, it's almost like I'd be bold to say, I know that when we're born, we're dialed in. We're in our purest form of being, in that meditative, I'm sure in the womb we're being very meditative. We're in an incubator, just being with that stillness and that space, the thin layer is what you called it, right?
Yeah, thin
Is
space. Yeah.
it's very much present. I'm pretty sure of that, right? And then we come out. I was born at home. I popped out, and it's like, whoa, wait, wait. And I'm out in the world. And from that moment, do you retain it? Are you keeping hold of that sense, that of being, that
Mm,
pureness, right? Or what happens? Now, life just happens to us. Now, for me, I feel like I was in that sense of awe and wonder, you know, for a little run in my childhood. Then life happened and things started to get a bit, harder and harder. And that disconnect started to happen. And it's sort of like I started to tune out from that sense. And then eventually I kind of disconnected from it.
mm.
So although it's strange to me, when I reconnected to it at the age of 34, it was an instant reconnection. It was like an instant, that sense of wonder came straight back. Everything became like, wow, like three-dimensional. It all became high definition. It was so clear to me that I've been living in this sort of like black and white, one-dimensional, linear, disconnected, dialed out, tuned out, fuzzy, hazy, you know, dull separateness to that oneness. That thin layer had kind of had loads of it just it sort of just I don't know, it wasn't there, and then just that instant connection. So how did I get that? How did I reconnect? Like, how did it happen? Straight away, just becoming present. That's it. And that is meditation, being present.
Mm.
Being present, being there, seeing it, experiencing it, witnessing it, observing it, being part of it, not just being an observer, like life's happening to you and you're just somewhere else, out of your body and out your head somewhere, because that's kind of what it is. It's actually being in your body, being present, and being part of it. Does that make sense? I don't know, that was really deep what I said there. Like,
Yeah, no, it's really powerful, and it makes me question that innocence you talked about early childhood and having that awe and wonder, which is that almost that innocent acceptance of this is life. And
Mm,
this is how I'm gonna, I'm I'm gonna be fascinated by dinosaurs, or I'm gonna be fascinated by drawing, or whatever. I'm just this is great. I'm just soaking this all up.
mm,
And then somewhere along the line it gets polluted,
mm-hmm,
and it gets, like you said, it gets, things get thicker, and we lose that sort of we lose that innocence, I guess.
mm,
And I
mm-hmm,
think if you are in a situation where life is tough, and for a lot of us it is, and lots of shit gets thrown at us, and and most of it sticks, and we get to a point where it's not it's not easy to just accept things are okay. What we're not able to accept what we've got, whether that's a lot or a little. And I don't think, and I guess that I'm trying not to quantify that in stuff, but I think that's kind of where we get to, is we haven't got this stuff yet, so we're not happy.
mm,
And actually, some of the when you look at studies about sort of happier societies and stuff, a lot of the societies that are the most happy are the ones that don't have a lot of stuff. Life is simpler, and it's not you're not getting stuck in this sort of hamster wheel, or this game of life where you're like, I'm trying to grab this and then I get that, and I just need to do this and then I'm going to be the happiest I'll ever be. And if I just own this, you know, electronic item, whatever, I don't know, just trying to, this gadget, this is going to solve everything. And actually,
this little monkey at
this,
home.
this monkey, if I buy this monkey from the Congo that's had its family shot, and I'm going to accept all that and
Yeah.
still be okay with myself. And I just think, yeah, that wonder of life. And for me, it's places. It is for me. I'm trying to think. It's places where quite often I feel that wonder.
Mm,
Um, I think it's. I think. I mean, you live by the sea, so I mean that for me is a place where there's something about being by the sea anywhere, and the scale of it. I think
mm,
there's something about that sort of, that gentle noise that's there with the sea, and the scale of it
mm,
always makes you sort of, it's like looking at the sky at night on a really clear, beautiful night, and you can see all the stars. There's something about just looking at that and contemplating, you know, how insignificant, and that's not in a bad way, but just how small you actually are in comparison to everything.
mm.
And for me, that's, I'm trying to think of uh, places I've been where I'm just like, oh my god, this is literally, I could just sit here for days and I'd be happy.
Streatham High Road.
Streatham High Road, yeah.
I haven't,
Elephant and Castle,
I haven't been down there for a while, but I hear it's quite glamorous these
yeah.
days.
I haven't been there for a while.
I'm just picking that out of the top of my head. I'm not having a dig at Streatham, man. It's a cool place these days, I
Yeah,
hear.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
wouldn't want to
yeah.
drive through it back in the late 80s,
No,
but
no. King's Cross in the early 90s, another one. That was always a
yeah,
place for decadence and
yeah.
debauchery. Yeah. So
Sorry, have I
no,
just have I done you?
you absolutely done me there. So yeah, I think it's places of wonder, and I think the only, yeah, and the other thing is just the other place, I guess, is looking or experiencing things with my kids,
Yeah,
is just like, yeah, just seeing them being young people and thinking, how the hell has that happened? Where's the time gone? Where's the, they are young adults now, and wonderful young people. And that is always, yeah, that's always the other place where I think I could find wonder.
yeah. It's animals and kids, man, because it's purity.
Yeah, yeah,
There's an innocence. You said it, innocence. That's the key word, man. I feel is innocence. That's the key component. Like when you're born, there's an innocence to that. Everything's brand new. Look, I did that in EP, right? And in in other words, another way of putting it is sweat lodge. I don't know if anyone listening's done one. Um, Traditional name for it is a nipi, right? And I was very blessed to actually do one, a proper one, like not a hooky one that you might go and do in fucking Hackney.
Streatham High Street.
Yeah, yeah, down at Streatham High Street in some fucking loft apartment.
Yeah.
They're doing all God knows what fucking unlicensed shit. But
So this is is it a Native American practice? Is this
yeah, it's yeah, yeah. So the person that took it was Lakota,
okay?
and it was just incredible, man. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because I did it about, let's have a look. It's about 7 years ago,
Hmm.
roughly. No, it's longer than that actually. 7, 8. I don't know, whatever. It was a while ago, and I was already connected to a sense of wonder in my life, very present. Now it really helps, right? It really helps. It's a no-brainer, but for anyone listening and not sure, let me just lay it out, right? It really helps to be present if you're not glued to a screen, because we're talking about distraction. If you're too distracted by life, you're not present. So let's have a little look at that, shall we? Right. So if you're getting sloshed up all the time, and if anyone doesn't know, I always say sloshed up, getting pissed, getting drunk, getting a bit wobbly, right?
Hmm.
Intoxicated. Choose your medicine, people, whether it's legal or not. You know, if you're not if you've got a jelly head, right, you ain't present, right? So that it helps if you can just have a look at that one if you're struggling. If you're not feeling like there's any wonder in your life, if you're feeling the opposite, what's the opposite of wondrous?
Don't know. I'll look that up. You keep talking.
Yeah, just shit, right?
Yeah.
So
It's probably not, yeah, as straightforward as that.
garbage. Excuse me, right? So um I'm riffing here and I go so fast sometimes I lose myself. Let me get back on track. Right. So look, distractions. Yeah. So if you're struggling with not, if you feel you're lacking in sense of wonder, if there's no wondrous happenings in your life and you are a stranger to what we're talking about here, there's things to maybe look at. There's a disconnect going on, right? Whether you're privy to it or not, or whether you're taking accountability or not, or whether you signed up to it or not, there's something going on that you need to look at, in my opinion. All right.
Mhm.
So why is that? Well, there's a disconnect. Why am I disconnected? Well, you're not being present. You can't be in your body. Is there too much pain? Have you got insurmountable levels of anxiety trapped in your nervous system, which renders you unable to be in your body? It's too hard to be present in your body. You don't feel comfortable in your skin, right? It's really hard to do that. So we medicate, right? Again, I'm talking about me here. Okay. So I need to look at that because that stuff is only going to work for so long before the drugs don't work anymore. Richard Ashcroft, I mentioned him last time, I'm saying it again. He wrote a song about it, right? The drugs don't work. Now, I'm not talking about certain medication. I'm not saying that because some medication is really important for people and they need it. Okay. I'm not saying to people don't take your medication, all right? I'm talking about self-medicating. When we're diagnosing what we think is wrong with us and we are going to the wrong people to get the wrong medication. And
Shortcuts.
yeah, shortcuts. There you go. Right. So then you got all the other things. So tech, gadgets, gizmos, people, obsessions, possessions, right? Um, there's so much to distract us. Distraction, distraction, distraction equals avoidance, avoidance, avoidance equals escapism, escapism,
Hmm.
escapism. I could keep going on, but I won't.
Hmm.
So if you are lacking in a sense of wonder, people, and I really hope that everyone listening is like, no, but I really do feel it, Dave. Like, great, awesome, right? Join the club. But if you are struggling with this, there's something to look at. Okay. We have to just be brave, courageous, and have a little look at my levels of honesty. I need to get real. I need to get real. It's really important just to get real, to evaluate what's the reality of my life, right? And why is it? Am I just a victim? Is everything just fucking happening to me? Is it poor me? I'm a victim of all this. This is bullshit. Or have I got a part to play in this? Is it
Mm,
possible for me to change something? Well, I'm saying yes, it is. Once you get real and you take accountability and responsibility for that chain of events to take place, you've got to connect to your truth. You've got to get real, get past the denial and the bullshit that you're telling yourself that it's all happening to you.
mm,
So distraction. Now, when you start looking at that stuff, for me, when I started to become, I use the word sober, present, connected, all of that childhood, early childhood, pre-life innocence came back. It flooded back in like a tsunami. I became very connected to a strong sense of wondrous abundance, infinite opportunities, and then you can start to live your life again. Um, so I know I went a bit way all over the place there, and I'm not sure I actually finished what I wanted to say, but I'm going to leave it at that for now. What was you going to say? You was going to say something, Ben.
well, I've looked up wonder. So wonder is the feeling of amazement and admiration caused by something beautiful, remarkable, or unfamiliar. Um, which talks to that sort of, yeah, talks to that idea of something almost unexpected or otherworldly. I think something truly remarkable, something that takes us out of ourselves, but in a good way, like you've just been talking about. And then the opposite, or the words they're using to describe the opposite of wonder, are disinterest, disregard, boredom, and detachment.
Mm,
And I think that's I think that's really a really interesting set of words, because I think there's a lot of disregarding ourselves and not being connected to stuff when we choose to use
mm,
uh, other medications,
mm-hmm,
not legal medical medications that people need to take, but things that take us out of ourselves and maybe lose our inhibitions. And I just, yeah, I find that using other things to take us into places of excitement and amazement always, for me, is a little bit hollow, always leaves you feeling worse, because that high is never sustainable. It's never going to
mm,
take you, it's never going to stay constant. But I also think it's really important in life to understand that even if there are moments of wonder, there are going to be moments of boredom.
mm,
That is life. And it's not about trying to live in this constant state of bliss. Like that's unobtainable.
mm,
Like I think almost like we've been conned a little bit. It's like we are told that we can constantly be happy, that we can constantly have, just untold, happiness is just there for us all to take all the time. And actually, it's more about understanding that life is good and life is bad,
mm-hmm,
and you got to ride that. And I
mm-hmm,
think I think we're becoming very ill-equipped, very unskillful in dealing with, actually, I'm having a bad moment. What do I do in these bad moments? because I just want to have good moments all the time.
Yeah.
And there are certain pills I can take, there are certain liquids I can drink, there are certain things I can do that will take me, whether it's a pint of lager, whether it's a tub of ice cream, whether it's, I don't know, whatever that thing is that takes you out of yourself and gives you a moment of disconnect,
Mm.
isn't necessarily a moment of amazement, a moment of wonder, a moment of something beautiful. And I think we are ill-equipped in modern life to cope with these things. We become so sort of blind to everything that's happening that we just sort of, yeah, end up sinking.
Yeah. Love what you just said there. And it's on point. And the word that come up for me when you said all that was oblivion.
Mm,
Um, Whether it's sexual oblivion, you know, um, narcotic oblivion, consumerism oblivion, materialism oblivion, gadget oblivion, people oblivion,
mm-hmm.
love oblivion. You know, it's endless. Seeking oblivion. What does oblivion actually mean? You know, I mean, it's just drowning yourself in this sense of contentment, which may work for a little bit. You may get an initial little fix from it, but will it fill the hole? You know, does it ever fill the hole?
Yeah.
I mean, I talk about my two sides of the coin, my formative years and, you know, how I live now. I've got a lot of experience with trying to fill the hole with a lot of the things I just listed. And it never filled the hole, you know, because I was disconnected. None of that reconnected me to my true nature, my true essence of being, of who I actually am, my authentic self. Because whilst I'm searching in all of that stuff, in oblivion with it all, I'm so far away from who I actually am.
Yeah.
I have no clue who I am because I'm looking at all the wrong places. All right. So going back to that Anipi that I went on, I was probably about, I don't know how many years sober. I'd been sober, you know, totally abstinent from all mind altering substances for many years when I did that Anipi. And we all sat around in a circle um, to do a check-in, you know, and to sort of just land. And we did a meditation, and there was a lot of teachings, Lakota teachings, traditional teachings on the wider what, how, you know, how everything's going to play out. And it was really insightful, really beautiful, really profound. Um, and I was definitely the student throughout the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
Beginner's mind. I went there with knowing nothing, right? And I gained a lot from it. And it was a huge reminder and a add-on, bolt-on. So it was additional learning and skills and experience that I've added to my journey, showing me that I am enough, just skin and bones, with everything, all of life fallen away, you know, without the world, the worldly, everything we possess, possessions, when that's all just falls away and it's just me and my skin and my bones sitting in a very small circle of people sitting around a fire, you know, just getting with the earth. And you know, they use the elements: earth, fire, air, and water. You know, it's the four elements that they use. And a lot of cultures, similar cultures that live with the land in an indigenous way, that's what they use. It's very simple. They don't really have a lot of worldly stuff. Unfortunately, sadly, now they've been corrupted a little bit and they've sort of, it's not as pure as it used to be. There's still some very pure um, forms of it out there. I know that, but a lot of them have drifted a little bit and gone a little bit off piste and
Mm.
thought there's something in the, what we've got of that's of importance, and they've looked into it. But um, it was a real reminder. It's a welcome reminder that, I went there. My intention when I sat in that circle and brought my intention to it, it was just to sort of it was a purification. It was me just having a reset because I felt like, I was years sober I was very sort of present in my life, but I was still living up near London, north of London. I was still up that way, very much working a lot, doing what I do with the young Mavericks, etc., etc. And I just felt like I just needed a bit of a reset and a spring clean. So that's what I went for. And I was very curious. I just wanted to do it. And I thought it was cool as fuck to do it. And I wanted to do it. And I'm glad I did it. But when I came out of there, when I come out of there in EP, anyone that's done it will know what I'm talking about. Anyone that hasn't, very quickly, I'm just going to say, I won't go into it, it's too long, but it's a ritual where you are just with water, fire, earth, and the air, right? And you're just with your breath. It's in a very close, confined situation where you are closed in, and it's like they call it a sweat lodge for a reason. It's like if anyone's been to a steam room or a sauna or sauna, depends where you're from, how you pronounce it.
Who
It's
pronounced it like that?
uh, that's how the Scandies call it. They call it a
Ah,
sauna, don't they?
okay. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, and it's hardcore. It's not for the faint-hearted. It will test you. It fucking tested me, let me tell you. And I managed to get through it. And when you finish the ritual, you have to crawl out of this little hole, this little doorway, and you're pretty much just skin, right? We're not naked. It wasn't one of those gigs,
Hmm.
Like I say, there are gigs like that. I'm sure you can go and do them. They're something different. I haven't done. I didn't do that one. This isn't that one. I had shorts on, and I'm dripping with moisture, right? Because it is like, steam room sauna vibes, and it's just the vape of the water going on the fire on hot rocks, and it creates the steam. And you're in there, and it's intense, and you're in there for however long, and it's just hardcore. And I crawled out of this little hole under the night sky, sopping wet. I was just completely, all the fluids that I once owned in my body were now outside of my body. And the moisture of, the air, right? The vaporized air on my body, sopping wet. And I crawled out, my hands and my knees on the mud, right? And it was muddy and it was wet. It was raining and the fire was still going strong. And the stars were so bright and the moon and it was just like in that moment, I swear, man, I was like, I'm coming out of a womb again.
Yeah, yeah.
It's how it felt. It's how it felt. It's like a rebirth. Just stripped of anything in that moment, just pure consciousness of being, and that sense of wonder and awe was magical times a trillion. All right. And I used to go and take a little white speckled pill back in the 90s, early 90s, go to a field with my fellow pilgrims, hands in the air, and try and achieve what I'm describing.
Hmm.
I had a dirty come down and wanted to kill myself. But what I've just described with that NEP, the sweat lodge, I'm still high from it now, man. You know, and I took a lot from that. It reminds me just to strip everything away, be with the land, light a fire, man, light a candle. Water, be by water, breathe. Get your feet on the ground, barefoot, center, ground, connect, reconnect, be with yourself in this moment. It's okay. You on your own in this moment is enough. You don't need anything else outside of you. And do you know what? If that brings tears and you cry, cry. Because it might happen. Because for the first time, you're meeting yourself without any distraction. It's a beautiful thing and it's really hard to do. Let me
Mm.
tell you, I couldn't do that for many, many years up to the age of 34. I could not be with myself, right? So distract, 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 escape, 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 avoid, 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 deflect, deflect, deflect. So learning to be with yourself is a wondrous achievement. It's magical. Learn to do it in your lifetime. You will not be disappointed.
When you came out of that, well, one, when you were in it, were you on your own, or were you with a group of people in there?
We had to crawl out one by one, single file. It was so small in there. So when we crawled in, it was like all the ladies went first
Yeah.
around one side, and then all the guys came around. So there was about, I don't know how many people, let's just say 12, maybe more, 16, I don't know. And we're sitting around, and the altar, the place of ritual, like the centerpiece, is the fire pit where
Hmm.
they put the hot stones, and it's just there's a glow, and it's just yeah, it's really dark and really it's so confined. And then when they open the hatch, the ladies crawl out first, one by one, and the guys.
And then you sit around the fire together.
You got to process it, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I was just on my hands and knees. I was honestly, it was like a bunch of grown up adult babies stumbling around, just all doing the same thing, just sort of like, I was looking at my hands, sort of doing that, like you would. It's like it was being on acid, it was just like, it was really quite something. Now,
Yeah.
someone else that's done one might go, well, that wasn't my experience. Well, great, that wasn't your experience. My experience is what I'm sharing, and it was like that.
Yeah.
It was magical. It was just like, it was just like being in a completely different paradigm. I was really connected to, I'm barefoot on the mud in rain, night sky. It was cold, fires burning away, and everyone's just sort of got a grin on their face. Or some people didn't actually, some people were trying to process it all, and a lot of stuff come up for them. But I'd done a little bit of groundwork before I got there because I'd been learning to sit and I was practicing meditation, of learning to be able to sit with myself before I actually did that. Now, if you just go straight into one of them without ever knowing what it's like to be with yourself, you're going to find it fucking hard. Some person, before they even got started, we sat in there, they got in there and they went, nah, not for me. And they got out. They couldn't handle it.
Mm.
They scarpered. It's not for everyone. You've got to learn to sit with yourself, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
hard.
mean,
It's hard to
yeah,
sit with
yeah, it
yourself.
really is. I mean, the intensity of that experience. I'm trying to think about the group dynamic of that, and I know that you're talking about it being an experience of finding yourself, sitting with yourself. But I'm just looking at this sort of idea of wonder as a group collective, because there was as well as the individual experience there must have been a shared experience,
Oh my
uh,
God, yeah.
like a group collective sort of. And
Uh,
I,
yeah.
I'm very conscious that not only are we sort of devoid of any individual wonder, or we find it hard to find the amazement in life, the amazing stuff that is happening, but we also are struggling to find that as a collective, to find
Mm,
moments of group, uh, a sort of celebration, if you like, of
mm,
amazingness, of sitting under the stars around the fire, whatever it is. But having those moments where you think this is truly amazing, this truly wonderous, sort of hanging out with people. And yeah, you've talked about early 90s experiences of being in fields with lots of other young people, hands in the air and all of that. And those moments of wonder are part of youth, are
Mm-hmm.
part of that collective, but it's where we find those moments of wonder as we get older, and
Mm.
we may be disengaged from some of the more unhealthy pursuits we were doing when we were younger. But I guess I'm also thinking about now, like, where is it that young people in the past 20 years actually go and have those collective moments together? Because I don't know. I mean, I haven't been. I mean, yeah, I haven't. The club scene, as far as I'm aware, isn't as uh, strong as it was back in the early 90s.
Mm.
I think those collective moments of where people come together, because everything is done online,
Mm.
where you don't get moments of wonder and amazement online.
Mm.
You don't like, oh yeah, I'm doing my online shopping here, I'm going to do my online dating here, I'm going to do my online
Yeah.
banking here. Everything happens online. So where are those moments where young people connect either with themselves or with each other and find moments of amazement and wonder?
So I think there are pockets out there, right? So I believe that, but you got to find them, and it's
Yeah.
hard to connect to them, right? So I think they're still there. I really believe that, right? So what came up for me there was obviously the online space. Now I work with a lot of young mavericks. I know you're in that space as well, so you're aware of what's going on the front line and reality. We've got the data, and we always talk about our own collective, shared, real life as it happens, frontline data, right? So lived experience data, and the people's data, and with a lot of especially the COVID what happened with the pandemic lockdown, gaming addiction, screen addiction ramped up hugely. One of the places that treats it's like a specialist adolescence treatment center over in Europe that I advocate for and associate to and help out quite a lot. They were taking intakes of young mavericks who had savage screen addiction, predominantly, either social media or gaming or both,
Hmm.
right? Um, was up, it was up to like 80% of their intakes was for that. Whereas before it might be, I don't know, 10% or something, 20%. So it was obvious that there was a ramp up, lockdown. It makes sense. I mean, it's going to happen. We're on lockdown. We're told we can't go anywhere. We go on the online space, right?
Mm.
Um, Now I know from a lot of these young mavericks that who've entered treatment for a detox of screens and gaming, etc., they'll say it in their own words. It's like, I was in oblivion. I used that word earlier.
Mm.
Gaming oblivion. Now, any parent listening, or maybe it's you, Dad, on FIFA. There are other games available. Um, you know, escapism,
Mm.
right? Escapism. Now, escapism is just another word for avoidance, maybe.
Mm.
Avoidance is just another word for distraction. And what was I talking about earlier? You know, the inability to be with yourself, to be present. You're not present if you're in oblivion, no matter what you're doing. If your head's in a freaking freezer and you're trying to find the next freaking cookie dough fucking tub, or you're on your whatever computer console in your dark room or in the garage or wherever you are in a fucking conversion in oblivion. You're in oblivion. Now I can get in oblivion in here in my studio with my amps and my pedals and my guitars is there anything wrong with that? Well, if I'm not getting other shit done, then yeah, but I get shit done. It's my escapism. My it's not a distraction. It's for me, I see it as escapism, but it's there's a wonder to it because I'm connecting to it's meditative. Now, some people I know would say that gaming is meditative. I can't see how being on screen is meditative.
I think there's something very, very different about being lost in a screen to playing a guitar or picking up a pencil and doing some drawing or even writing. I mean, even like, but even writing on screen. I think there's something very different about that in the skill set of where your brain is working and how you're interacting with tools
Hmm.
than if you are in a world watching a blue hedgehog running around a maze or whatever game you choose to play. Um, um, yeah. So I just think I think that's very, very different. And I think it's much more, I don't know. I don't know if it just consumes different parts of us that lead us into a more negative space. I'm trying not to be too disparaging just because it's not my thing. I've never really been a gamer or a,
Neither have I.
and but I do think there is something very different about that kind of, you don't never hear, you hear like, say someone like David Beckham, like you hear about him as a kid and they said there was never like a football further than sort of a centimeter from his foot. He's you hear about these kids that grow up to be great sportsmen. It's like they've constantly got a football or a ball
Mm.
or whatever it is they're into. They're constantly playing with it. You never hear people go, "Oh my god, they're addicted to that football." You never go, "Oh my god, we've got to take them to the doctors and see if we can get them, get some sort of therapy for this kid because he won't stop playing with the football."
He's
Or,
OD'd on his
or
football.
yeah, yeah, or she. Sorry, I'm being very sexist there. And uh, Whereas there's something disconcerting. When we were kids, it wasn't gaming as much because gaming was, well, there was the Commodore 64 and the Spectrum and all that. But it was still early days and it took too long to load for people to be truly addicted. But there was that whole thing about if you watch too much TV, you're going to get square eyes. I always
Yeah,
remember that as a kid.
yeah.
And I love movies and I love TV and I love, I watch a lot. And my eyes still haven't gone square, so I'm pretty sure that isn't true. But there was that thing at the time that the screen is kind of bad. We've
Mm.
never quite trusted it, and I think the same now goes into that sort of online. We know something's not quite right about it, but we're not sure what it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And as I said, we don't say the same things about a kid that wants to play football or a kid that
Mm.
wants to pick up a guitar or a kid that's constantly drawing. we
Yeah, yeah,
don't we don't say the same things about them. We think that's healthy, that's good.
yeah.
And I don't know whether that's a societal thing, uh, but for me, I know that screen time leads me to feel a little bit dirty, not in a,
Yeah, I
but
know what you mean.
just
Well, it
feels like I just feel
depends what you're
tired.
watching, mate.
Yeah, yeah. But I feel tired and I feel worn out, and it doesn't leave me feeling nourished.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
get a sense of flow on a computer screen.
Definitely not. I've never had that. Never have I had that, right? I can be in flow when we're doing these, right? So
Mm,
we're on tech now.
mm,
I can get in flow with that
yeah.
because I'm channeling, I'm tapping in something that's very real and very visceral. Is that the right word?
Yeah, yeah, I
Right.
think.
Now, when you're, because the analog part is me and you talking,
Mm,
right? Now, I get it on a lot of gaming things. It's social. So you've got people that are playing a game and they're talking. They've got the headphones on like we have now and they're talking to each other and they've got like co-pilots, exactly that. And
hmm
it's the team thing, right? So I
yeah,
get that. Now, for a lot of these young people, they've said it. It brings me connection. I've got friendships. Don't feel alone. I can be with people. But it's like, yeah, but you've got their voice in your ear, you're talking to them. So there is that kind of visceral part of it. I get that. But the rest of it is you are in a alternative reality world, which is um, I'm sure to them really wondrous, and it's they create these games are amazing where this the graphics, the story, everything in it. I'm not surprised they like to be in them. They're designed to be lost. You can get lost in them for hours. I get it, but I get that part, but I've never really got it because I've never really been into it myself, right?
Mm,
So I can see how they lose themselves in it and get that connection. But you can't beat, why don't you arrange to meet up with the people you play the games with in person? That's what I say. It's like, wouldn't it be better to actually actually go and meet these people? But they live in like Brazil or they live in Japan or it's like, okay, well, but okay, well that's okay, all right. I get that. But what about right here, right now? Who have you got that you can connect to? Now, a lot of these young people don't have anyone,
mm,
any real, proper, visceral, in-person relationships. The we, which is getting back to what you're saying, to have a wondrous experience. I don't think you need to share it with people all the time. Now, for me, it's nice to share experiences with people, but I also have the same sense of wonder, and I can have a wondrous experience with no one watching, just me and that experience. Where I'm just somewhere watching a sunset or I'm looking at the moon, I'm just in the middle of nowhere. I'm on my own and I'm feeling that sense of absolute joy.
mm.
I don't need anyone to be there to be present to share that with. It's nice, but I don't need it. That's beautiful. And I've managed to get to that point and I'm really happy about it. And so it's just a bonus when you actually share it with people. So I think it is possible to experience it. I don't think you need the we, but you certainly need the we to get to the point where you can experience it on your own, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think for me it's more about that. It's more about where are those places that we connect with people and have a shared experience that is wonderful. That is amazing.
Straight
And
on my road.
straight am I right. And I think even at like a big concert now, and I am going to be a real old git here and say, even there, you're at a concert and the experience for a lot of those people is through a screen. They're not actually in the concert because the bloody phone is up all the time, filming everything,
Mm.
photographing everything. It's not like, oh, this is amazing. Look at this band, look at this artist, whoever it is, you know, having that shared experience together and just going, actually, that was enough.
Yeah,
To be there together and experience this together
yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
enough.
And I remember it is absolutely. And I remember a dear friend of mine said to me once, we were both going we were in the park and we were both early days in this journey of sobriety, if you want to call it that, just being present and uh and drug free,
Mhm,
just being really present, right? And we're in the park. My mate Nick is his dear partner Rachel, and she's a mate. She said to me, "Isn't it weird, Dave, how we used to, you know, do things like now what we're doing, which is go somewhere, it's really beautiful, and then we'd slowly remove ourselves from that, you know, experience
mhm.
on a substance,
Yeah.
whether it's alcohol, drugs, whatever, so it's almost like, it's just like, oh, isn't it lovely? Isn't it lovely? Isn't this sunset lovely? And then slowly whatever you're doing removes you from it because you disconnect from it because you're not present. You go somewhere. Does that make sense? That's what,
Mm,
and it really struck me that it's like, yeah, why do we do that? Why do we feel the need to take ourselves away from being present in this beautiful moment and place with a person or whoever, why do we do that?
I I went to see the early '90s rave dance classic band Underworld
Oh,
couple of
born
years ago.
slippy, born
Born
slippy.
Slippy, and that's exactly where the story revolves around.
That's like the Inipi.
Yeah, yeah,
How I felt.
yeah. So we
Born
went,
slippy.
a load of us. Well, not couple, me and one mate went to Ali Pali to see Underworld, and this is about 10 years ago now. And unbeknownst to us, another couple of mates had bought tickets, and we just like you and the Viking, we bumped into them there, and it was like, oh, great, I haven't seen you for ages, lovely. And so we're all in the main space, and Underworld come on, and these couple of mates that we met up with were had been getting on it since since uh, maybe say 5 6. They'd started on the train on the way up. Let's say that.
In 1982.
And I was driving. I was completely sober, and about yeah, I think they must have encored with it. They encored with Born Slippy, and
Mm.
this mate I was with went, hey, threw his beer up in the air and sort of charged forward and was like, yeah, let's have it. We've all got a mate like that.
Oh
And
God, yeah.
everyone stares at them as they like having it and pushing through the crowd, and you're like, oh no, stop that. Anyway, so he did that, and then we all went home, you know, and the next day, this guy sent me a text, went, Underworld were amazing last night, weren't they? Shame they didn't play Born Slippy. And I
Oh
was
my
like, oh my
days.
God. And it exactly goes with that. I've got so many mates that have had experiences like that. I've gone to see this band I absolutely love. And how were they? Can't remember a thing.
Yeah.
And you're right. We go to these spaces, whether it's a concert or whether it's a beautiful landscape or whether it's a pub garden and we're with people we love and want to connect with. And then we remove ourselves, we take ourselves out of that situation
Mm.
by getting slowly more
Mm.
uh, compass, sorry, the opposite of compass mentis, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's slowly losing our minds.
Yeah.
And that's acceptable. And that's what we do.
Mm.
And it's not, it's like you said, we're afraid to sit there with ourselves, let alone sit there. So we're let alone sit there with ourselves. We can't sit there with other people.
Okay, so what's come up with me? I love what you just that story's great, and I know definitely I know someone like that. So there's an intimacy to wander.
Yeah,
That's what's come up for me. There's an
yeah.
intimacy. There's an intimacy to it. And I think people listening, how does that feel to you? What does that mean to you? Intimacy. Oh, intimacy. Being really intimate right now. And it's like
Is
I
that your
was
intimate voice? I
yeah.
don't want to know actually. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
want
Um
to know.
and I was terrified of intimacy, which is why I used to, you know, have to put a mask on, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And without getting into it, I've just described how you put a mask on. So taking the mask off and being just there with your skin and your bones as you are, come as you are, Kurt, come as you are, you know? Just be there with yourself, with other people. Now, I've learned to do it and I'm so glad I have because I know intimacy now. And it is hard. It is scary,
Mm.
but it's a beautiful thing. And it's really even better when you share it with people who can meet you with that intimacy. And honestly, it's not many people that can do it. So anyone listening, if you've struggled with this, join the club, right? I was in that club. So I think there's an intimacy that comes with the joy of life. It's a really intimate, beautiful,
Mm.
sacred, special, magical thing. Are we present? Are we actually part of that? Or do we think we have it in artificial things that aren't really doing it for us? And we've got this deluded, inaccurate sense, quantifying my life is awesome and I'm great. I'm doing great and my life is awesome. Are we mistaken? Is that not wonder? That's just delusion. Are we actually struggling to be just with ourselves,
Yeah, yeah.
with nothing else than just ourselves in this moment, skin and bones, with our breath?
Sweating, lying on the grass, looking at the stars.
Yeah, yeah. So I know, man. I feel like we could go round and round and round and round and round,
There's a
but
lot come up in that one. A lot come
yeah,
up in that one.
but I feel for me, I feel what I've learned from it is that yeah, there's an intimacy to a heightened sense of wonder.
Yeah, I really love that. And whether we can share that intimacy with other people.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
We should be doing that, I believe.
yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
it's that's what we're meant to be doing. And I think if you think about it, look at Indigenous. That's why I love, doing stuff like that. The drum workshop I did the other day, that was like same thing. We was all barefooted. It's
Mm.
very intimate, right? There's a vulnerability to it, but it's wondrous. It's magical.
And for a certain period of time, not that you will probably ever see any of those people ever again, but for a certain period of time, having had that experience, shared experience for 24 hours or whatever it was, you are totally connected to those people around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Which is why when you come away from it, you think, "Oh, I'm never going to see them again. I
yeah. I
want to go
felt
back to
sad.
that."
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
did.
But that's what we should be doing over and over again, and connecting with more and
Mm-hmm.
more people, and
Absolutely.
having wonderful experiences.
Yeah. So share your wonder with us.
Yeah,
All right. Join us at the Velvet Revolution pod.com. Share, be intimate. Share. We want you to be intimate. If you can be asked, dare to do it with us, all right? Just share your thoughts, man. Give us some comments on what's come up for you. What's your interpretation of what we're talking about? We'd love to hear from you, man. And if you want us to read it out, we will. All
yeah.
right.
Cool. All right. Thank you. That was good. I liked that.
Cool. Do you feel you've got some wonder? As we think, so we become. So if you don't feel you've got it, at least aspire to have it and work towards it. So do
Mm-hmm.
you feel like you've got some wonder? You said you checked in with it. I'm gonna go wondrous because yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I do. I feel like yeah, that was a really, as I said, I feel like there's lots come up there, and I feel like there's more to discuss, which is always a good place to leave it because
Mm,
we can pick it up next time.
Many crossovers on these, so
Mm.
I'm sure we'll cover what we're talking about on another one in some way. All right, Mr. Rice. Until the next one, we're about to enter the last three of the first season,
Yeah,
XYZ.
the difficult last three.
Yes.
Yeah, but we'll pick that up next time, as I said, and see where we go.
All right, man. All right. Well,
All
look,
right.
have a champion day. Why did I say champion?
I don't know. I think you're going back to that Wazak or
Ma-
Wazoo or whatever it was.
Very,
The word.
it's a very Mancunian kind of thing, isn't it? It's champion. Right.
You have a great day too. You take care and
Cheers, man.
speak soon.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.